Hi all. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and my channel is all about talking about new makeup, trying new makeup, but also finding new and exciting ways to be inspired by the makeup you already own. If that sounds good to you, I hope you will consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed today's video, hitting the like button. It is time, guys. It is time. I have waited long enough. I feel like I've been keeping you guys waiting. I feel bad about that, but my schedule has been so crazy lately. We are continuing on today with my Pat McGrath Day to Night series, and we are moving on to Bronze Seduction. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So if you are new to this video concept, this series, what I do with my Pat McGrath Day to Night series is I do a day look on one eye and a night look on the other. I want to preface this by saying I don't necessarily believe in day to night looks. For me, what I wear is what I wear. So, you know, don't think that this is how you should wear these palettes. I say wear your palettes however you want to wear them. But I know that there are a lot of people who find Pat McGrath palettes to be quite intimidating. They find the color stories to be a bit challenging. So I like to show how you can do really simple, easy looks, more day looks, you know, looks that you will wear to the office or just out, you know, and something that's a bit more dramatic with a bit more oomph with all of the, you know, amazing special shades that she has and beautiful metallics and deep, rich, you know, colors. I like to show you how you can do both because you can do both with every single one of the palettes. So if you don't know what Bronze Seduction looks like, here it is. I feel like everybody knows what this looks like. It's one of her most popular, if not her most popular palette. It is not my personal favorite. But it is growing on me. I will say that. So I plan on eventually doing an updated Pat McGrath ranking for my motherships. But as of now, I think it's ranked like pretty much in the middle for my motherships as far as the ones that I own. And I own 8 of the 10. So I'm going to start off with this eye, and we are going to do the day look. And I am going to start off with this beautiful shade. And let me pull the name card out because I suck at remembering the names to her palettes. So I'm going to start off with Entrapment, which is this tone here, this sort of like really pretty mid-tone brown tan shade. And I'm going to work that into the crease. And I am using for this, I tend to like to use natural hair brushes for her. I tend to like to use natural hair brushes for her palette when I use her palettes, but I am using a synthetic brush because it was the first thing that I grabbed, and they do work. I will say this, I find that her palettes work with synthetic and natural hair brushes, but I found that when I first started using when I bought my first mothership, I was using exclusively synthetic eyeshadow brushes, or synthetic brushes in general, face and eye brushes. And I had no problems as far as application, but I will say that when I started using natural hair brushes, it's a bit of a game changer, I'm not gonna lie. So like even blending here, I think this is workable, but I think that if I had grabbed a natural hair brush, it would be even more workable. So I say, like, if you're struggling, if you find her matte formula to be a bit challenging and you use synthetic brushes, just try a natural hair brush. I know not everyone likes to use natural hair brushes, but just try and see what you think then. I'm going to grab my Sonia G Crease Pro, and I'm going to dip into that same shade because I just want a little more on my, there we go. It just picks up a bit more product. It blends it a little bit easier. And there we go. And now I'm going to use the same brush, and I am going to take the shade that is called, I think it's called Disobedient. I don't have my glasses on, so forgive me for like squinting when I'm reading, or do you see me looking off? It's because I'm looking at the monitor to see if things are in focus, but I'm also blind without my glasses, so I'm always like, I have contacts. Do I wear them? Nah. I fell out of the habit during lockdown. And I haven't really fallen back into the habit of wearing them because it's just so easy, much easier to just like throw my glasses on. And I don't actually mind wearing glasses. Now, when it gets to be winter here, I probably will start wearing my contacts more because there is nothing more obnoxious. And I'm dipping back into entrapment just for a little blendability here. There is nothing more obnoxious than your glasses freezing over and you not being able to see. That's annoying. All right, so now I'm going to grab a number 21 Rephr, and that's these little flat brushes here. This is what I use exclusively to apply like metallics and shimmers. And I'm going to tap on this shade, I think it's called, yeah, Guilty. I was right, Guilty Pleasure. So it's this one here, and it's kind of this beautiful bronzy tone. And I'm gonna spray my brush now that I've tapped into that. To apply that onto my lid. And this look I'm doing is very easy, and I try to do really easy looks for the day look because that's kind of the point is to show you guys how easy it is to create a look. And I try to do it in real time. I try not to speed up the film or anything like that, just so you can see what you can do right away. You know, like you sit down, you do your makeup, and this is how long it's going to take you. And keep in mind that I'm talking while I'm doing this, and I'm, you know, it probably would take even less time, you know, if I weren't filming. I'm going to dip back into Disobedient, and I'm going to just take a little of that and blend it in with that shade. And now I'm going to do the lower lash line really quickly. And yes, this is, when I'm using my Pat McGrath palettes, this is how long it takes me usually to do a look. So this is representative of how easy I find her palettes. Of course, I stab myself in the eye. I'm going over the lower lash line with Entrapment, by the way. And this look is going to be a little bit more intense. I mean, some people may find this to be a little too intense for day. I don't, but my goal is to use as many of these shades as possible to show you how they look. So now I am dipping into, and I think this is Skin Show Divine Glow, yeah. So, as you can see, really simple, not a lot going on. It's a bit smokier, but I think it's still a really simple, easy look. I've used, what, 4 shades? Not too shabby. I'm going to put some mascara on this eye so you guys can see the finished look. So I have applied mascara, and as you can see, this is a really pretty soft but like smoky eye look. And if you want to do this look and you don't want it to be too intense, you can always skip doing anything on the lower lash line and just highlight the inner corner. Or you can not add Disobedient, which is that darker chocolate. You can skip that and just go all over with Entrapment, and then go in with Guilty Pleasure and Skin Show Divine Glow in the inner corner and be done. But I wanted to do the full like vibe that I would do for a day look using this palette. So let's get started on the nighttime look. All right, guys, I am so torn because my instinct is always and forever to use these 2 shades. Always and forever. Always and forever. Do you guys know that song? Anyway, I feel like all my OG R&B people will know that song. But yeah, but I also want to do something different. But at the same time, I know you guys are probably like, well, no, I want to see what the red looks like on the eye. So we're going to use these. We're going to go in with these. But we're going to start off again with my beloved Entrapment. I love this shade. It's just like such a beautiful, simple tan. So we're going to go in with that. We're going to start the look off similarly to the way we started off the day look. But what I'm going to do here is just make a little bit more effort to make it wing out just a bit, subtle wing out, setting the stage for that. I have slightly hooded eyes, and I like to do a shape that's kind of a bit like this, that kind of lifts the eye. You can do what you want to do, of course, it's depending on your eye shape or what you prefer. But when I do really dramatic looks, that tends to be what I go for. All right, now that that base has been laid, I'm going to go in with a number 13. It looks like this, and this is my favorite, one of my favorite brushes. It's also a refer brush. This is great if you have hooded eyes or small eyes. This is one of those brushes that really, what are they doing outside my apartment right now? This is one of those brushes that really gets into that outer corner and into the crease really well and helps you build up nicely, which a bigger brush would kind of cover too much space. But when you want something that's a bit more like detailed, this is a great brush for that. So I am going to go in now with Extreme Aubergine, and I'm tipping into this lightly. Now, this can actually be quite pigmented if you want it to be. I tend to not use this that heavily because it's super dark and it can almost function like a black, and you have to be really careful of how much you want to apply to the eyes. So this actually, as you can see, I'm just slowly building this up. Really slowly building that up. And I'm keeping it to this part of the eye. I'm not taking this any further. I don't want it any further than this on the eye. Now I'm going to bring it up just a bit because I do want it to be seen above the hood of my lid. And I always say, if you have hooded eyes, if you have a deep shade that you want to be seen, even when your eyes are straight on, you're gonna have to bring it a little higher. It's gonna look a bit dramatic to you at first. You're gonna feel a little, huh? I know I certainly did, but it just looks better in my opinion, and it just looks more cohesive. I'm gonna grab my ice on your cheek again, and I'm just gonna take that entrapment and I'm just bringing it up a little bit higher and helping to blend. Got a little bit of shimmer from my fingers on my face. And you see, just brought that up just a little. I'm not trying to make it like, I mean, I can do that, but I don't necessarily want to do that right this second. You can build up to it. It's not something that I would do right off the bat. With dark shades and with extreme shapes, you really do want to go slow because you can always add, but you can't take away. So while I like really pigmented shadows, when it comes to applying dark pigmented shadows, I like to take my time. All right, so now we are going to go in. I think we're going to go ahead and do Blitz Flame. Where did I leave my, so I'm going to take that Refer 21 again, and I'm going to use the other side. And I am going to dip okay. And I didn't spray the brush this time. I decided not to because I kind of want to show you guys what it looks like even with no help of, you know, sticking to the eye. It's pretty intense. This is just it on a brush by itself. This is pretty intense. Am I right or am I right? Okay. And then I'm going to go back into, where did I do with my 13 there? And take a teeny tiny bit more of Extreme Aubergine. And I'm just going to blend it like that. Taking that same 21, I'm going to wipe it off with my trusty little microfiber fabric here. And then I'm going to go into, let's see. I think we're going to use the special shade. Now this is one of the super flaky, supercalifragilistic special shades. So for these, I'm going to definitely wet my brush. And I also think I'm going to use, yes. So I've heard Tensifies. And we're just going to take this and I'm going to apply this just right here. Like that. It does lift up a little bit of product, just so you know. So when you use this, don't be surprised if you have to like go back in and just like go over an area. I'm going to dip the brush into, and this is, I think the name of this is Astro Luna Gold. I knew it was Astro something, but it's such a stunning shade. And then there's also this shade, which is called Fire Opal. They're very similar, except this one's a bit more green. So if you're going for that green tone, I would go for Fire Opal. Lunar Gold is a bit more like, whoop, actually gold. All right, so I am not rubbing, I am tapping. Dab. Dab, my friends, don't rub with this kind of shade. And then I'm going to flip it over again and take that red just to blend it all together. It's going to look like so. Got a bit of a trio vibe here. And then we're going to do the lower lash line, and then I'm going to try and incorporate some of these other special shades. Just going to dip right into Extreme Aubergine. Apply that to my outer corner. Okay, now I want to take a teeny tiny brush, and I'm going to take this teeny tiny, well, it's not that tiny. This is the number 3. There's an even tinier one that I think I'm probably going to grab as well. Hold on a sec. Okay, so I'm bringing out my 2 teeny tiny babies. So the first one is the Rephr 3, and this is how big it is. Still pretty tiny. It's dirty. Don't judge me. I'm washing my brushes after this video. Thank you very much. So it's pretty tiny. But Rephr has something even tinier, and this is the 23, and as you can see, it's super tiny. And these are what I use for my lower lash line and my inner corner when I want to be really precise. So I'm going to go in with this teeny tiny baby because I'm going to be putting special shades along my lower lash line, and I want to make sure that I'm being as precise as possible. Also, so I don't like drop glitter into my eyeball, because we don't want that. So the first shade I want to go into is Rose Gold 005, and I'm dipping my teeny tiny baby brush, and then I'm going to spray my teeny tiny baby brush, and I'm going to apply this, and I'm already getting fallout, and it's wet. I'm going to wet it again. There we go. That's better. Feels like wet, but not wet enough, you know. There we go. I'm now going to take that other shade that I was saying about, which is Fire Opal. And this is going to go in my inner corner. And you're going to see just how green this looks. Look at that. Now you could swap this. You could have done the pink in the inner corner and then the green on the lower lash line, but I love this shade and I just wanted more of it. This is one of my favorite shades in the palette, so I just was like, no, I want that in the inner corner. But you can swap it out if you're going for something a bit more like subtle in the outer corner. It's Rephr 2, and it's like a flat brush. This is good for packing shadow on the lid, but I'm also gonna just use this for my my brow bone. And I don't usually highlight my brow bone, but I feel like this time I want to, because this look just kind of calls for it. It just needs a little extra oomph right on the top there. So why not? And it just kind of helps lift everything as well. Put that just a little bit more. There we go. I am going to get rid of the little fallout that I have, apply some mascara, and I'll be right back. I've put on some mascara. I also put a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner duo in Mesmerized Maroons in my waterline. I applied some lipstick. I'm not sure how I feel about this lip with this eye. I like it with this one, but not so much this one, but we'll go with it. It's fine. It's fine. For the record, it is Dose of Colors liquid lipstick in Brick. So this is the finished look, or the finished looks. I used every single shadow. I hadn't used this one, but while I was doing that, I just took a teeny tiny bit of it and just applied it like right there. So technically, I mean, it's not, you can't really tell that much of a difference, but I wanted to make sure I touched to my eyelids every single shadow in this palette. So yes, I have officially applied all of these shades I have all of these shades on my eyes today, okay? So yeah, so to do a little roundup, a little rundown rather. These are the shades that are on my left eye. So I have Entrapment, I have Disobedient, I have Skin Show Divine Glow, and I have Guilty Pleasure. And then I have, what do I have in my waterline? I think it's, yeah, so I have this in my waterline. And then for this eye, I basically have everything else. But no, I did reuse Entrapment. I used a little bit of, not really, I kind of almost dipped in this, but really the main stars of the show are Entrapment and Extreme Aubergine. And then of course, this beautiful shade, which I believe is called Blitz Flame. And then all of these other special shades are on my eyelids, guys. So yes, I wanted to do something that was quite dramatic so you could see how dramatic this could be, because this is quite, I mean, a lot of people think of this as Pat's like everyday palette, and I can see why people think that. For me, when I first purchased this, and even before I purchased it, it was not the most inspiring of her color stories for me. It really did feel like it was a neutral palette with this beautiful red special shade. And like I said, it's grown on me some now that I've used it even more, and sort of added it more to my rotation, on a more regular basis. I'm coming around to it. It's still not my favorite. And when I say that, I'm not referring to her formulation, I'm referring to the color story. If you don't know, if you did not see my Pat McGrath Mothership ranking, which you should, I will leave it either a card or down in the description. My #1 Pat McGrath palette is Subliminal. So as you can see, this is an incredibly warm toned palette. If I could show it to you without blinding you. This is an incredibly warm tone palette, and Subliminal is an incredibly cool tone. But I am a sucker for a beautiful red metallic, and honestly, that is what sold me on this palette, which what made me want to purchase it and really try it out. The red in this Blitz Flame is just, it's stunning. The special shades in this palette are just stunning. For me, they make the palette, and also this beautiful, these two really make the palette for me too. But when you really want to go basic, you could just do these two. This is Guilty Pleasure and Skin Show Divine Glow. Look how soft those are, and maybe just a little bit of Entrapment, maybe. You can just do these three. I darkened it up by using Disobedient, but you could drop this shade out and just use these three and still get a really beautiful look, This look here is very dramatic. I don't know necessarily if I would use this many of the shades on my eye in real life, but I wanted to go there for you guys. I'm like, let's just throw them all on there. So that's what I did. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Do you own Bronze Seduction, or have you been eyeing Bronze Seduction, but you were a little afraid and you were like, I don't know how it will work? Did this give you some ideas on how to use your Bronze Seduction palette? Let me know. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.